We're going to build the best football team in the SEC Conference. We're going to build the best football program in the SEC Conference.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gator.
The kick, it's been blocked again! How about it? It's been blocked again! It's going to heat one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! How about it? I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw. Pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Norrie! It's Norrie! Got a touchdown! Norrie's got a touchdown! Oh, man! Norrie's got a touchdown!
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out the winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gator.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium Miguel. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
Same corner, same time. What are the vibrations, fellas?
Nick,
Good?
what are your vibrations, Nick?
Still in baseball season, so
Man.
Friday night.
It's like
Got
you're losing this
baseball.
battle, Nick. It looks like you're losing this battle,
Yeah,
bro.
Nick looks a little
Tired
tired.
today. Yeah, baseball. Not a good weekend at Florida Ballpark. Florida football, a couple injuries. We'll get into that later. So just been grinding, kind of like Will Smith. Will Smith's right palm on Chris Rock's cheek. Just
Putting that work in, huh?
I'm just getting worked like Chris Rock.
I got a question about that. I want to get y'all's opinion. What do you think was going through Chris Rock's mind when Will Smith walked on stage? You think he was like going to give him a hug, or because he didn't flinch, he didn't do anything. He stood there and took it.
Pause. Because I think it was like this is gonna go as smooth as rehearsal went.
Yeah, I saw you were you put on the old tinfoil hat and said, "Hey, this is stage."
Yeah, I think it's staged. What do you think, Nick? What's your feeling on Will Smith? Oscars been dead for however. Nobody watches that. The ratings been at an all-time low. This I'm pretty sure did them a lot of favors.
You got people talking, that's for sure. I thought it was staged. Also, my guy played Ali, and Chris Rock just like stood there and ate an open hand right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like what kind of rehearsal did you do? What'd you do to get ready to play the greatest, Muhammad Ali? You can't even knock down a 60-year-old comedian. Probably had to be staged.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest take.
But a slap over a punch.
I think a slap's more disrespectful. In my honest opinion,
Slap is definitely more disrespectful.
For sure.
You think he learned that from the movie Hitch? It was a little more recent than Ali.
Is it? I don't know the year.
No, Hitch isn't more recent than Ali.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I will let the fact checkers decide.
I think you're way
Dan,
off.
what's your take? What's your take on? I think he's way off too. Dan, what's your take on Slapgate?
I think it was so Ali came out in 2001 and Hitch came out in 2005. So as I was saying,
right.
I thought it was interesting. The whole thing was odd. I think Jada Pinkett gave him the eyebrows of hey, you got to go do something. And then he got himself involved in entanglement. Jada's been involved.
Somebody
in
that don't mind
herself.
sharing. Someone that allegedly don't mind sharing their wife. I don't see why he would be mad about a hair joke. Is my take.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was that worth it, but I don't know. But I don't think it was staged. I think that there was a lot of frustration, and I don't think he would have apologized the way that he did, or I think there would have been something that came out if it was staged. But I will say I didn't even know the Oscars were on until I got some text messages from some friends about it at about 10:30 last night. So shout out for the Oscars for finally getting some recognition in the general public again.
And when I saw it, when my brother texted to me, I told myself, I was like, yeah, I don't believe Will Smith grew a pair and was just like slap somebody at the Oscars out the blue.
I will say this.
I rolled back over like the Donald Duck gif. He rolls back over and put this sheet over his head. That's what I did.
Maybe he's trying to earn some respect after all the entanglement stuff from a year or two ago.
Right. I can see it. Did he earn your respect then?
No, he didn't.
Okay,
But I, I'll be honest with you. I don't keep a lot of tabs on Will Smith's personal life, other than I remember Jada saying that she would have rather been with Tupac than Will, and that she was
does that
involved in
every
some
year.
other things.
Right.
Too. But my knowledge of Will Smith's personal life is pretty small, to be honest with you. Great actor though, big fan.
Nice little quick visit into pop culture. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, you can listen to the Cup podcast if you want better takes than Dan's ridiculous takes on Will Smith's
for sure.
personal life.
I'm pretty sure we have all the takes on Will Smith and things of that nature.
It's your new favorite phrase. Weekend was good, boys. Let's see, what did I do? Took the boat out safely, of course. This weekend. What else did I do? Oh, I had to go to an engagement party that was at a ranch with like goats and cows, and there was a mini horse. That was the first time I'd seen a mini horse IRL, so that was kind of neat. And I was at Armature Work Saturday night. Silk, I know you were there during the week. Came over to my stomping grounds, but Armature Works was great. Great vibrations on a Saturday night. And then yesterday was a relaxation day to get it ready for my parents to come in this weekend. So excited to have them swing by. So, Silk, how was your weekend?
My weekend was smooth, man. No complaints. Caught up on rest on the weekend. During the week, I was very busy. Like you said, I went out to Tampa. Enjoyed you guys' scenery. Amateur Works. Went over there by the stadium.
Yep.
The Lightning Stadium. Some nice vibes over there. We was at American Social hanging out, me and my brother. So some nice scenery out there, but just a whole lot of just catching up on rest this weekend. Went to catch my son's soccer game, and that was it. Rest and soccer.
How's Junior doing? How's Junior doing in kickball?
The other team didn't have a full team this Saturday, so what they did, they put some of their players on the other team so the kids could at least play. It was a forfeit, but they still played. But he's doing really good. He just haven't been dedicated to soccer, so his defense is elite. But a lot of the stuff on offense, he's getting frustrated with because we just haven't played. When he started playing, the pandemic hit. So he's been without soccer this entire time. But he's enjoying it. He's having fun. You can see the speed and athleticism. But on offense, when he started doing certain things, he gets a little confused and lost in the sauce. That's all.
I love it, man. Well, it's good to be back on a Monday. Thank you, everybody. Last week was one of our more listened to episodes of the last few months. So thank you so much to everybody that joined us last week. But let's get into the show, boys. We potentially have Malik Davis joining us later today. And then next week, we're going to have Linda Teeler, who's the Associate Athletic Director, or one of them, and then former Athletic Director Jeremy Foley next week. So that should be a great show. But let's give a shout out to our title sponsor for Stadium and Gale, Alan Horn with Alan Horn Insurance. State Farm agent in Jasper, Georgia, specializes in auto, home, renters, life, business, boat, retirement planning, whatever kind of insurance that you may need in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, or Tennessee. Check them out at alanhorninsurance.com. That's ALANHORNE insurance, spelled the normal way.com, or give them a call at 706-692-2888, or visit him on social media at SF Agent Alan H, or on Facebook at Alan Horn State Farm Agent. So thank you, Alan, for your continued support throughout the year. Boys, we are going to get into some football. We had a pro day today. A lot of the guys that tested at the combine did not test this week, but a lot were in attendance. Kyer Elam, pardon me. He tested out in the drills. Let's see. Damian Pierce tested out in the drills. But outside of that, we had a number of players, including Zach Carter, Jeremiah Moon, and then a lot of the guys that weren't necessarily on the draft board participate. Nick, give me you were there. Give me your overarching thoughts on Pro Day.
Yeah, I've tried to kind of get the pulse of like the fans and where they are. There's so much other stuff going on. And I just didn't feel like there was a lot of attention to this class outside of, Elam, Damian Pierce, and Carter, maybe a little bit for Jeremiah Moon. But those guys who have the opportunity, today's bigger for guys who didn't have the opportunity to go to Indianapolis and do the combine. So a guy like Daquan Newkirk, Antonio Valentino,
Malik
Davis, those guys are the ones that really need today, that really need a pro day. And it's interesting, like I'm getting older, but Valentino was like, I'm 24. And I was like, oh, that's young. But then he's like, I've been playing football since I was 5 years old. That's 19 years. Like I've dedicated my life to this. And I'm like, oh, well, that hits me. I'm like, nobody cares about this. And then you have someone standing in front of you tell you that, and you're like, yeah, I should probably give this a little bit more attention. So it's interesting. They did everything this year, and I think maybe last year they did everything in the IPF. Last year was because it's open air and there's a bunch of people and there were still COVID restrictions. So they bring the whole bench press deal into the IPF, bring it all the way over from the football weight room at Ben Hill Griffin. So saw bench press, jump, broad, everything, and it's kind of right there in front of us. Only thing that I think Florida messed up on was doing it on a Monday, because Monday, Tuesday are the NFL coaches meetings right now. So all the coaches and owners are in West Palm Beach. Typically they'd done this event like on a Wednesday, I believe. And that would give everyone coming back, leaving the coaches meeting, time to come up. So it was kind of a lighter crowd in terms of scouts, no GMs, no head coaches, because they're all in West Palm Beach. I think that was the only thing I would have changed if I were Florida, and certainly would have liked to have changed if I were one of the guys, trying to get seen today.
No doubt.
So overarching thoughts on Pro Day, and then we'll kind of get into some numbers. Or did you not follow it very much?
I didn't follow. I just followed the numbers. It wasn't a whole lot for me to watch. And the numbers popped out. I know everybody wanted to keep, or not everybody, a lot of people wanted to keep Nick Savage, but these numbers just, and I don't know who to blame, but it just don't look like we're a very strong football team or a very athletic football team looking at like the numbers we got.
Yeah.
Even bench press wise, just overall numbers were disappointing for me. Those are probably the worst numbers I've seen in a long time following University of Florida combines or pro days rather. Usually pro day numbers are inflated.
Yeah, big time. These are some of the slower numbers that we've seen. But Nick, I want to get your thoughts on the way that the drills were run. Maybe just to add some context, and we'll go over individual numbers. Tell us how it kind of broke down throughout the day.
So the guys started with height measurements, height, weight, hands, arms, all that stuff, and then went into the bench press. After that, it was straight into the 40. So after the bench press, into the 40, and if the 40 is going to be probably the next thing that's looked at, like after game film for a lot of scouts. So you don't want to get tired before you're doing that. So it's bench press, then straight into the 40. Then after that, they did their L cone drill, the 3-cone drill, and the 20-yard shuttle. And then after that into they had a 60-yard shuttle like listed on the schedule, but I don't think anyone does that. I don't know anyone that runs that or what the purpose of that would be. So after that, straight into positional drills. So it's an easy day for them. Probably more, you put more pressure on yourself, but it's stuff that you've been doing your whole life.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some numbers here real quick. We'll call out kind of the official or the big numbers, and then we'll go into some of the other numbers that were a little bit less impressive. Kyrie Elam did participate in the vertical jump, went 37.5 inches, which would have tied him for the fourth best mark amongst cornerbacks at the NFL Combine. Malik Davis had a 39.5-inch vertical, which would have ranked second among running backs at the NFL Combine. Daquan Newkirk, 29 bench press reps at 225. Antonio Valentino had 25. Newkirk's 29 on the bench press would have tied for the most by a defensive tackle with a UCLA defensive tackle. But outside of that, Gene DeLance had 21, Stuart Reese had 20, Kyrie Elam had 10, and Malik Davis had 10. So, outside of some big numbers by a few, not all that impressive overall for guys that have probably been doing this for the past 2.5 months or so. But definitely not great numbers. And then let's get into some 40 times. Again, not all that great. Let me just pull up the official numbers. Zach Carter ran a 5.06 40, which I thought would be a little bit faster than that. Malik Davis with a 4.71. Gene DeLance with a 5.26. Jeremiah Moon with a 4.89. And then Stuart Reese with a 5.58. Not great numbers to say the least, by really anybody there.
Yeah, those are some egregious numbers. I thought Malik would be faster than a 4.71.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't actually see him run, so I don't know if he stumbled out of the gate or something like that. But I thought he was at least on par with Dameon Pierce. Bench press wise, I even thought Kanye would do more in 10.
Mm-hmm.
I just expected more out of these guys a little bit. Kanye had a great workout outside of the bench press, in my opinion. But I don't think bench press is terribly. He's physical. He could come up and tackle and do his things and cover it. So I don't think that's a big deal for him. I just expected him to lift more. But he ran well. Shuttle was good. And that was very, like you said, the vert was dope. I wonder if he slides into the first round. We'll see. Zach Carter, I expected him to run a little faster as well.
Mm-hmm.
Expected him to show a little bit more athleticism in his workout. So I was a little down on him. I don't know where his stock will be at. Interested to follow all this up into draft day. Kind of been doing my Googles and doing the same thing on Twitter to see what a lot of the pro scouts got these guys after the pro days. But just overall, the numbers was a little, not low, very down for what we've seen in the University of Florida for like pro days. What would you if it's not Nick? What would you attribute that to if it's not Nick Savage? Just a unlucky year.
I think maybe a little bit. I don't know, how running on turf might impact that. Obviously, the combine's on turf as well. But very disappointing to say the least. Malik Davis didn't really do him any favors with his speed. But for guys that spend nothing but time over the last 3 months preparing for the combine, it just doesn't seem like those numbers were numbers of, I'm not calling them uncommitted at all, but it just seems like there just wasn't, really any improvement, because this should probably be the best 40 you run in your life, right? This should be the best shape that you're in. You're probably playing a little bit lighter than you normally would during a football season. You've been trained by speed guys. Normally, if you have an agent, they're putting you up at a, place called, like Aspie here in Tampa, or there's, athletes first gyms and all of that. There's places all around the country that specialize in getting these guys ready for the combine. And it just doesn't seem like any of those numbers were reflective of that, unfortunately.
Not to derail you guys, your conversation, I don't know how official those numbers are. Like Dameon Pierce was like sitting over there with a group of reporters, and they were using like their stopwatch on their iPhone. So I don't know.
Is there official time out there?
No.
Who has the official time? Nobody has official time out there?
I mean, the Chief Scout will have an official time, and the Giant Scout will have his official time. That's why you don't really get official time.
I'm pretty sure University of Florida got a lot of like track equipments and lasers laying around, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember Pro Day, they used to broadcast times, with the laser time and everything else. And obviously that's an unofficial time that they'll go back and review. But those times were from Zach Cohen, and that's from a UF representative. I don't know who that UF representative is. It also could be the same UF representative that said that they were bench pressing 250 instead of 225. So again, you can take these with a grain of salt, but that's what that was a mistweet out there to a number of people. I know Zach was told that, Graham was told that. You almost got to use your better judgment and know that it's, 2 plates on each side, but
Yeah, I can tell who ain't been to the gym.
I remember going back. I had never. I think I like just started. It was back when John Jalapeno was going through because I was close with Pio when he was getting ready for the combine, and I think I had like just barely done 225 in the gym at that point. And I was like, all right, I went in one night and I was like, let me go try to rep this. And I got like 10 and was exhausted. I don't get it shows strength. I think more so than that, though, it shows dedication. Like, have you trained for this? Because, like, listen, a guy with
it shows endurance too.
A guy with super long arms isn't going to do as well. He's pushing that weight farther. That's why, you get guys like running backs. A guy expected,
but it's still comparative because like most defensive ends got super long arms, right? So it's like how many reps comparable to other defensive end, how many he got, how stronger. Like Dan said, endurance wise, it's a measurement of strength and endurance. I just don't know how important it is to a quarterback or cornerback. I think certain positions that matter, right? And certain positions don't.
Well, like when Jalen Tabor threw up like 3.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
I was like, listen, he's strong. It's just like I that's why I thought it's like, hey, have you practiced this? Have you worked at this? So I'm gonna be
real. As an adult grown man that plays football or any professional sport, you got to be able to lift 225 more than 3 times. I don't care if you're a kicker. Maybe in life, like I don't know if it's safe to be walking around and can't bench 225 3 times.
I think you'd be surprised at how many grown men can't bench 225.
No, I won't be surprised. I'm just saying it's dangerous.
Yeah, I would be surprised too. Somebody can't bench 225. Anyway,
how many reps you getting, Dan?
2, maybe 3. I'm having the same level as Jalen Tabor. So
yeah, there you go. See, that's why Jalen Tabor shouldn't be lifting it 3 times.
If Jalen Tabor can do it 3 times, then I can do it 3 times. But before we
Riedel trained you to get 3. I know he could get more than 3.
I need to get back with Riedel. But we do have Malik Davis waiting for us to join the show. Before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code StayToMiguel. Get 15% off of your orders. Softest material, best quality. T-shirts for vintage Florida Gator, where I think they have about 15 items for you. But also if you're looking for something for maybe a family, friend, spouse, loved one, coworker, boss, whatever the case may be, bunch of different colleges on there. So with all that being said, visit homefieldapparel.com, use promo code Stadium and Gale, all one word, and let's get Malik Davis on the show. Malik, how are you doing, my friend?
Can't hear you, Malik. You ready? You good?
Yep. We got different Malik joining us. All right. There he is. Malik Davis, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks so much for joining us. The pride of the 813, Malik Davis.
No problem.
Big pro day for you today. Let's get that out of the way. How was today and what were your thoughts on pro day?
Everything was good. We came out there. I was at my home turf and was able to get embraced by my teammates and guys who cared about me. So today was a pretty good day.
Good stuff. So talk to us a little bit about how the day went, and were you able to meet up with some scouts and stuff after, or just talk to us, run us through the day today.
Yeah, I spoke to a bunch.
Lost him.
Be patient.
All right, you there?
Yeah, I think but I spoke with a bunch of different teams, both after and during. It was a successful day.
What are those conversations like? What do they want to get out of you, or what kind of questions are they asking you?
A lot of questions where they just want to know how smart you are. Explain our offense to them. Explain the defense. Just seeing if I know football. Also, we spoke about what I bring to the table. Catching out of the backfield and making plays in open space.
And Malik, you didn't get a draft invite. What was that? I know we all dream of that, being young ball players or whatever. What was that feeling like when you didn't get the combine invite? We talked about on this show. We thought you should have got an invite. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a chip on my shoulder, and it seems like, you know, when every time it's time to go to the next level, it's always a challenge for me, you know. So it's nothing new, you know. I would have loved to been there, but I didn't. So I just knew I had to come, and I had to just prove why I should have been there.
So, I mean, today was still a blessing nonetheless, man. Being able to do a pro day is still, I mean, a lot of kids don't get that opportunity. So
Right.
what was your mood like this morning when you woke up? Were you excited, happy? Like, they give me the overall, like, what your mindset was like.
I was
last night,
excited.
were you able to get to sleep last night?
Right.
Yeah, I was able to sleep, but it was hard, you know. And when I woke up, I do understand that, you know, a lot of guys are cut off their pinky finger to be in my situation. So, you know, even though I didn't get that invite, I look at it that from that point of view, you know, it's a blessing just to be able to put on these cleats and go perform and have people evaluate me and maybe want me on their team, you know, because a lot of guys wish they could have this opportunity and wish they had this shot that did it. So it's definitely a blessing.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Valentino said something to me. He was like, I had to like remind myself that everyone's here to see me today. Like everyone's here to see me, to see my teammates. Like I've already put in the work, and today's just like, hey, show up and show that you've put in that work.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I preach that to my teammates too. You know, when you come here, just come, enjoy it, and have fun. Don't let this day have you nervous and make you feel like you have to do this or have to do that. You know, if you put in the work and you come out and you give it your all afterwards, you should be fine.
Malik, we were talking a little bit about it before you got on the show. Were you training in Gainesville? Were you training elsewhere? Or
I train in California at RX Sports.
Tell them what you told me at Pro Day today, Malik. Who'd you see out there where you were training in Calabasas?
Oh yeah, Kanye at this I don't know the name of the ice cream place that he goes to. I forget the name. It's called like Jerry's something, but he goes there. He pulls up in like a van by himself and goes. This is crazy.
Let me ask you a question, man. You wrapping this thing up. Have you graduated yet?
Yes, sir.
You have graduated. So you graduated. You came. NFL is on next up. What do you feel about your overall tenure and your overall stay, your legacy at University of Florida? Did you come and achieve the things you set out for?
Yeah, definitely. I'm the first male out of my family to go to college and graduate college. So from where I'm from, I'm already won in a way, you know.
Already.
I did that, and I played football for the Florida Gators, one of my dream schools since a kid. So I think I definitely completed the mission, as in the goals that I've set as a kid so far.
So what's
now on the next one?
Right. Go ahead, Nick. You got it.
What was it like? We talked a little bit about it at the field today, but what was it like? Just, from Tampa, you've been in Gainesville for the last, 4 or 5 years, and now you're training out in California. What was it like just to get out away from Gainesville and you're kind of experiencing new things as you get into this next stage of your life?
It was a great experience. You know, I've never been anywhere for that long, for that amount of time. You know, other than traveling with the team, I haven't even traveled anywhere. So it was a great experience, you know, to get away, get out of Florida, see something new while I trained. It was definitely fun.
I think California is better than either Columbia, Missouri, or Columbia, South Carolina on those trips that you took during your playing days.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you.
Malik, you've been in Gainesville for a long time now. Talk to us a little bit about your experience. You committed, with Jim McElwain. Then you're with him for a little while, and then you get with Dan Mullen and his staff. Talk to us a little bit about your transition from high school. You were, an all-state player, an all-county player. What was the transition like to college for you?
It was a big transition. Just the level that I was at, and when in high school you just get the ball and run. Now you're in college, you gotta know what's going on before it happens. You have to read the defense, know why if this guy's coming and why if they're in this alignment, this is gonna happen. So I think the biggest thing is just understanding football. And since I've been here, I think I've learned so much of football, and I've became a smarter football player overall.
What's that like? Because you're for the longest time in high school, it's just like give the ball to Leak and let him run. And now you're getting here, and it's like no, you need to pick up that 250-pound linebacker who's running at you with a full head of steam, and if you can't block him, you're not going to play. And you're like, whoa, I'm not an offensive tackle. I came here to run the football, and you're asking me to put my head into some guy's chest here.
Right. Like I said, at this level, it's time you're becoming a man, and those are the things that has to be done at this level, and that you have to be able to do. So I mean, you just got to put on your big boy shoes and big boy pants and big boy shoes and make it happen. My coach always preached, if you can't protect the ball, you can't protect the quarterback, and you can't play here.
Did you have a welcome to college moment, kind of like where something either positive or negative happened? You were like, okay, this is different.
I'll say something positive when Tyree Cleveland made the catch my freshman year against Tennessee to win a game. I think that would probably be it.
That was wild. That was the Felipe. What did we call it? I think we called it the heave to cleave.
That was one of the craziest plays that I've seen. So definitely.
What was it like down there on the field? Because I mean, in the stadium that day, we couldn't hear anything. The place was going nuts. I think Tyree almost got smushed because everyone ended up on top of him. BP was down there with him too, I think.
Yep. What
was it
crazy,
like on the field right after that?
It was crazy. Everyone was happy, excited, emotional. It was a great experience.
Malik, you came in your freshman year and surprised a lot of us. We seen the potential in because your recruitment was a little late. We talked about your recruitment, but Florida, we got on you a little late as far as with an offer. But we all seen the potential in your huddle tape. But your freshman year got off to a hot start, and then you had a injury that ended it. Your freshman year, what was that like? Being on University of Florida campus, hot as a freshman, and then having it like deflated from you a little bit.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. Coming from someone who never had a serious injury before, and then I come to college. Then my first year, I have a major injury. It was pretty tough, but I had people around me that supported me and loved me, from teammates to coaches and family, and they embraced me and made sure I had support I needed. So even the days that I had, it was there to pick.
I think he froze.
I think we lost him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We can hear you. This is not a good promo for the hotel that's hosting you, Malik.
It's bad connection. I'm sorry.
It's weird being back in Gainesville in a hotel, huh?
Yeah. I'm in Gainesville.
What
is it still frozen? Maybe I might need to move around a little bit.
Yeah, you can start the video. That probably helps with the lagging.
Let me see. Is that better?
Yeah. I think you're fine.
Yeah, I think the hotel's Wi-Fi can handle one or the other, not both.
So I was asking, well, how was that freshman season, man? Like once the injury hit and you said you had family and a good support system.
Yeah, I think that's a question too, because a lot of times guys get hurt, and it's like out of sight, out of mind for fans and even reporters like me.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like? Because you spend more time in the training room, obviously not practicing anymore. Do you feel like you're getting left behind, or do you still have coaches and teammates that you're interacting with every day, stuff like that?
I mean, I still have coaches and teammates that I interact with every day. But like I said, that support system is really important. Some guys may not have that, and it can discourage them, make them feel like, you know, they're not wanted as much anymore. But I had coaches and teammates that, like, even if I walked in with my head down, because they know I'm a competitor and I want to compete, I want to be able to compete. So when that was taken from me, you know, a lot of days it was rough for me just coming in for the facility, not being able to put on those cleats and go out there with my brothers. So my support system was pretty strong, and I think that's what kept me afloat, kept me focused.
Did being away from the game help you appreciate it a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. Like after that, I never took it for granted again. You know, having those experiences, it definitely is an eye opener because the game can be taken from you at any second. So me being able to go through that, it helped me understand that at a different level.
Malik, what was the transition like? You had Jim McElwain for was it 1 season or 2?
2. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, 1 season.
Okay. So what was that transition like? You have a great, freshman year, and then, obviously, besides the injury, you also have a head coach change. What was that experience like for you? Because, when you were in high school, you obviously have had the same coach for, all 4 years. But what was that transition like during a coaching change and style of offense change and everything else?
It was a big change. You know, you build relationship with coaches and staff members. So when you never know when something like that is going to happen, you know. So when that happened, it's definitely challenging. You got to learn another coach new and get to know him and build a relationship with him, from the coaches to the strength and conditioning coaches. So I'll say it's definitely, anytime something like that happens, it's definitely challenging. But like I said, you know, this is the business that we're in.
I like to ask like awkward questions sometimes. What the hell happened when Lemon quit after that Kentucky game? Like, what the hell happened in the locker room? That was bizarre, and I think nobody really like what happened. And that was early in Mullen's tenure.
Yeah. I can't really say. I honestly can't even say what really happened. I just know it was just a few back and forth, and you know, I can't really, I don't even want to say, I don't even want to make up something and tell you something that's not accurate, you know.
Right. If it's too tricky, I don't want you to like leak out no bad locker room stuff. I was just curious of like how that. I know early in tenures the buy-in is important, and you had a change from McElwain to Mullen. What was the buy-in process? Because some of the players got to deal with that now that Mullen's gone. So what was that buy-in process like?
It was different. Like, it was challenging. You know, you're learning one thing from a whole staff, and then a new staff come in like, no, we're gonna do it this way. So I think that it's definitely challenging, especially if you feel like you had a great relationship with the last staff. You know, some players may feel like they didn't want their coach to get fired, or they wish that didn't happen. But since, like I say, this is the business that we're in. Sometimes things like this happen, and you just gotta buy in. You just gotta put your right foot forward.
Nick, you're on mute.
The transfer portal wasn't even really a thing for you at the time, Malik. Like when that happened, and I think it's tougher for a guy, especially like you. You're just a freshman, going to be a redshirt freshman, because of the injury, and it's kind of like, man, I didn't sign up for 4 years of this new guy, versus a senior who's just like, hey, I got 1 more year to show up, kind of something like that. But yeah, I mean, how many different running backs coaches did you have during your time? You had Skip,
Sider, and then Coach Knox. So I was on my 3rd running back coach.
Okay. I remember talking to Andre DeBose. He did 5 years and had 5 different wide receivers coaches, and I'm like, that's probably not great.
Man, that's murderous.
Probably not great for your development there.
Yeah, like sometimes it could, like you said, it could definitely mess with your development. And you build relationship with coaches, and we're all human, so we're not robots. You know, we build relationship with coaches, and some players feel some type of way when a coach get fired, and sometimes it's hard to just swallow that pill and understand that you just got to move on.
Now, did you grow up a Bucks fan?
Yep, Bucks fan.
Yeah, so you're a lifelong Tom Brady fan now, like all the other Bucks fans that Daniel and I, who are
I wasn't a Brady fan until he came to the Bucks.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still not. Yeah, but whatever.
Dan,
I
you're a Dolphins
appreciate-
fan.
I am a Dolphins fan. I know that's why it's hard. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, Nick, because I'm a Dolphins fan. I want the Bucks to be successful because I live here, so I can go to the parades. But also growing up not liking Tom Brady, but then he came to the
Not at
Bucks,
all.
and all of a sudden he has a personality. You're like, hey, maybe this guy isn't that bad.
No, he's terrible. Stop that. Dan,
I
our
know.
entire life, Tom Brady has terrorized our football franchise.
Yeah.
Our whole life.
Oh, well.
Malik, what's your plans for the draft, man, or that weekend? I know you don't know if you're gonna get drafted, but are you planning on doing anything with the fam? Or you just keep it
Yeah,
low key?
I'll just be chilling with the fam at the house. That's it. I won't be doing nothing crazy. Just chilling with the fam.
What do you think? I don't know if you put a lot of thought into it yet, but what do you think that moment will be like? Sitting on the couch with your people, the people that have supported you this whole process, and that phone rings and it's a GM or coach or somebody and says, "Hey, the work you've put in is paying off. We're about to call your name here."
That moment would be surreal for me, just because everything that I've been through, even off the field, besides football, just growing up, and like I said, I've had a lot of friends growing up that wanted to play football, and it didn't happen for them, or they may have made a different chose a different path, and they wasn't able to make it this far. So I think it'll definitely be a surreal moment, for me and my family and the people supporting me, because they know where I came from and how hard it was for me to get to this point.
Oh, yeah, a small number of people even get to play D1 football, and then it's only a small number of people that get to play on Sundays. So
right,
you've already beat the odds to just even be here to get the opportunity.
Exactly.
And you beat the odds to be boring, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Do you talk to P Ryan or any of the guys you have relationships with that in the pros right now?
Yeah, P Ryan, KT, Tyree, Van. Like I've always been tight knit with my teammates and those guys. Well, we talk all the time. I'm pretty much close with all of those guys, and I'm not even just saying that because we don't like. If you ask them, like, those are my brothers. You feel me?
How much seeing those guys be successful? How motivational is that for you?
It's very motivational. These guys that I work with, I strap up with every day, and then seeing them at that level and seeing the success that they have, it motivates me and lets you know, like, it could be done. You just got to work. It could be done.
Malik, we're like 3 weeks away or so from the NFL draft. What are you going to be spending your time doing over the next few weeks? Are you still going to be training, or are you going to still be out in California? Are you going to head back out there, or what do the next couple of weeks look like for you?
I think I'll just be home in Florida training. I'll train here in Florida and just try to prepare myself and try to become the best football player that I can be while I wait.
Do you have any workouts set up with any teams coming up?
Yeah, I got a few teams, a lot of teams that I'm supposed to schedule visit with. I'll probably know within the next couple of days the schedule and who and where I'm going.
And you got an agent to handle that now.
Yeah,
tells you, hey,
yeah,
book the flight. We're going to be here, or the car's picking you up this time. That's nice to have someone kind of handle that off the field stuff. That's you think that's kind of is that one of the biggest changes for you in terms of going from being an amateur athlete, quote unquote, because I think college football players bringing in enough money shouldn't be called an amateur, but then not having to worry about class, not having to worry about waking up and going to study hall. It's just like, hey, I wake up and all I'm doing today is to get myself ready for my job, which is going to be football.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely different now. It's no more school. You could just focus on your craft all day, every day. And I think now you could definitely see what you're capable of and push yourself to a different limit than you were before, than you could before. Because before you got to come home, you got to study, you got exam, and now you come home and you gotta get ready. You're basically you're at work, so now you just gotta get prepared for the next day every day. So it's definitely a blessing and a great feeling.
What's your hobbies, man? I know the KT and all them. We've seen rappers. We've seen a lot of stuff, man. Hunting hogs. What's your off season downtime hobbies, man?
My downtime is just spending time with my family, man. I'm a family man for sure. So anytime I get time off, I'm probably at granddad's house chopping it up with him. I'm at grandma's house chopping it up with her. You know, that's what I like to do on my downtime.
And Malik, who are you training with when you're back here in Tampa?
I'll be training with Yo Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan's trying to get back into get back into his playing shape.
Well, I didn't want to be awkward, Nick, but Malik and I used to work out at the same gym when Malik was in high school. We didn't work out together because Malik is, I don't know, probably a second and a half faster on the 40 than I am. But no, I remember meeting you right before you went to UF back with Yo and Riedel and the rest of those guys at the performance conference.
Yeah, I'll be back there.
Awesome, man.
I had a couple questions, Malik, just about opponents at Florida. What was maybe like the worst fan base to play in front of?
I don't even want to answer that. You gonna have these people. You gonna get these people
you don't need them
tweeting at me all night.
No, man, we got you, bro. You seen Gator Twitter, man? We got you, dog. Like, you need some reinforcement.
I always just so some of the school, all the other SEC schools let us down. Like, when we're at the game, let us go down onto the field, and then we'd walk like behind the bench, and just some of the stuff that comes from like the student section is wild.
Yeah,
wild. And I'm like, and I turn around and I'm like, if you came on this field talking like that, like, it wouldn't go well for you, buddy. Right. Like these are not, you know, the kids sitting next to you in college algebra. These are grown ass men here in pads.
But speaking of that, who had the best hands on the team, Malik?
The best hands?
Yeah.
You talk. What we talking about? We talking about football. We talking about in the paint.
Oh no, we're not catching any footballs in this discussion.
You talking about? I
he asked everybody
myself.
this.
I'm going on myself.
Oh, okay. I like that one. Malik say I got the best hands on the team, bro. I like. But anybody on the football team say they got the best hands, that takes some. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that locker room. They could.
I've seen Zach at work. I've seen Zach footage.
Well, I taught Zach everything he knows.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Different weight class, though, right?
How often does that stuff get tested in the locker room?
I mean, you know, it's emotional. Sometimes, you know, something happened at practice. You get in the locker room, you was talking crazy. So now, you know, you got to back it up. You know, and it's all love. It's all love. It's not like we're trying to do something. You know, we're teammates at the end of the day.
For
so
sure.
we're gonna rock out and we're gonna shake hands afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that, you know, fans might get lost on. Like, what do you mean they're fighting? It's like, listen, dude, they're these 19, 20, 21-year-old guys. Like, there's you throw little hands and they get squashed and you're good to go. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Sometimes
you do a whole camp
and
no fight, man. You got a good team. For sure.
Yeah, brothers fight all the time.
Right.
I mean, you got 15 spring practices out in the heat. Someone's going to say something ignorant at one of these practices that they have to answer for after.
All right, we got to put Malik down in best hands on the team. We keeping a running log of who had the best hands on the team, and we'll go ahead and add you into that bunch, bro.
All right, bet.
Oh man, Nick, Silk, you got any more questions?
Good.
Nah, that's it, man. Just good luck, man. Take in all the moments, enjoy the journey. You know what I'm saying? All of it, man. You blessed to be here. Just keep doing great things, my dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, best of luck, Malik, and we appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, thank you. No problem. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Thanks, Malik. Best of luck with everything.
All right.
Malik Davis.
You hadn't asked your question in a while. I can't wait to see what our guests next week say. Who's got the best hands in the UAA?
I'm gonna ask Mr. Foley. I'm asking.
That'll be a good last question, Silk. Or that'll be a good first question. Hey,
What's
Mr.
the
Foley,
wildest
we appreciate
suspension
your
he
time.
had to put in? Like, who had the swollest eye that ever came to your office, Mr. Foley?
Oh man, Malik Davis, former Florida Gator running back. Appreciate his time joining us today. So Nick,
Well-spoken kids around here, man.
A lot of well-spoken kids. Took them a little while, but we warmed them up a little bit.
Right.
Anything else on pro day before we get into spring practice and whatever else is going on in Gator Nation?
We need to get lasers, man. We can't have our boys out here just running random 40s by random reporters with clocks in their hands, bro.
Yeah, but see, so that's what gets on Twitter, and which is why I wasn't really. I mean, in my younger years, I felt, as a
reporter, you gotta give these people a time. If people running, Nick, you need a time. Somebody got to provide a time.
How qualified am I on my stopwatch from 30? And we can't even stand close.
Right.
How qualified am I? And then if I talk to the Jaguars guy that's there today, he might have a time, and if I talk to the Bills guy, he's got a different time. So
I would trust the Bills guy.
I'm a player. I time myself.
I'm just saying, if there's 32 NFL teams there's probably 32 official times.
You time yourself, and then you walk around comparing it to all the reporters' times. Like, what y'all got? What y'all boys got?
So, Nick, what you have to do is you have to walk up and say, "Hey, I clocked a 4.71. What did you clock?"
Right.
Just for my reporting, right? And then they'll be like, "Oh, I got a 4.62." There's an official time. So that's some advice for next year. Go in pretending like you know what you're talking about, and then get the official.
That's quite the acting job.
The thing about it is, Nick, you could have just tweeted a time and helped these boys out.
Yeah.
Zach Carter ran a 4.44 today. Unbelievably fast.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
What a guy.
Just flies
and
up
that
boards.
gets retweeted and everything else. Nick, you just gotta pump the tires of these guys some more. A little bit more propaganda coming from you.
Right. Do your part.
I will take notes.
Yeah, I mean, or just like talk to the players before. Hey, if I pump your time down by, a tenth of a second, and we increase your draft stock, let me just get 5%.
No, just come on the show real quick.
Oh yeah, or that too.
Wait, we just took money. Well, I was just going to get money straight to my pocket, and now he's just a guest?
Yeah, but there's tax implications and everything else. So
it's not good. Say I have some integrity in your journalism, Nick.
That's a good point.
Stoke just goes, yeah. And Dan's like, see, tax reasons. Uncle Sam would have been in that pocket anyway. And
yeah, you would have had a report. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of
ethics, man.
Yeah, a lot of ethics. So
what?
But overall, again, we don't know official times. These are unofficial times. And again, you can take them with a grain of salt. These aren't official by any stretch. And, they could also be looking, for different things in the way that they run and everything else too. So there's a lot more that goes into it than what gets reported. But, another Gator day in the books. Nick, you mentioned on it before, a Monday, the coaches clinic just wrapped up. Did any of those guys hold over? Obviously, I know that Matt Rule, was down in Miami. But did any of the guys from the coaching clinic stick around?
Not that I noticed today.
Yeah.
Really when I get there, I'm looking at the guys, and then if I know any of the scouts, talking to them. So I didn't notice any of the coaches staying over past the weekend, because I think they wrapped up. They wrapped up Saturday, so they probably got out of town, Sunday.
All right. But yeah, Monday on the SEC network didn't seem to have a lot of fanfare. A couple former Gators were there. I know Chris Doering was there. Who else was live reporting from the event, Nick?
In terms of like local media?
Chris Doering, Shane Matthews, and Jeff Cardozo were reporting live on SEC Network Plus. So don't know if it will be reshown on SEC Network Plus. I feel like their content is probably a little bit limited this time of year, so maybe you'll see it. But overall, a pro day happened, and
lackluster pro day, man. We need laser, and we need our strength and conditioning coach to get these guys stronger, man.
I don't think you want laser because that's going to give you a slower time than a hand time.
No,
Well,
but okay. See, Nick, we complained about the times, and you said I don't know if I would believe these.
Yeah, I'm also saying you
So
don't want.
They can
I'm
be
also
worse.
saying.
I thought you were saying they could be better. You saying
he's
they could
talking
be
out of
worse
both
than
sides of
this?
his mouth again. So
No. Laser times will get you a more accurate time, which is generally slower than a hand time, which is why they use laser at like the combine. But I'm telling you that every scout there comes with a stopwatch, and they wouldn't care about what Florida's laser time was because they didn't set that up. So they trust their thumb because they've been doing it.
I need it for my sake because right now I'm confused, Nick.
Nick, just bring your own laser equipment next year. Just set it up. Just say, "Don't mind me. Just step on this button." And
I'm gonna put that on the company credit card. I'll get there early, and I will.
What is that
run? Laser.
Zach ran at 48, but what does Zach run at the NFL Combine? I think the time looked pretty close. I think to what he ran.
He ran a 4.99 at the combine. So he ran a 5.06 today and a 4.99 at the combine.
That's what he is. He's 4.9. He's 5.6. 5.06.
Yeah. So I think that shit might be close.
Well, they were benching 250 before running, which probably taxed them.
All this is alleged.
Yeah.
Alleged.
Nick, just get the timer, get the laser, put on the company card. Beg for forgiveness after. Don't ask for permission.
Much easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, I mean Shannon Terry. I mean, this would barely hit the bottom line. You know, what's $400 to a $100 millionaire? You know,
I was going to put it on the Stadium and Gale card.
Oh, you don't have access to that. So,
okay.
With all that being said, let's give a shout out to
disabled right now.
Let's give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. Go visit them. Best vacuum sealed cups in the game. Over 300 schools. A lot of University of Florida products on there as well. Really great products. Sat by the pool for a bit on Sunday. Still ice in my cup. About 9 hours later after I brought it up. So great products.
I heard that totally different.
No, well,
I heard
I'll have to re-listen to
icing my cup.
No. It wasn't icing my cup. No need to do that if you have an insulated cup that can keep your ice nice and cool.
Right.
So visit Game Time Sidekicks. Use promo code STADIUM for 10% off of your order. If you've not checked them out, highly encourage you to do so. Nick, on the football in the football world, still want to talk to you about practice. You've been at practice. You guys have been able to seemingly see quite a bit, at least from a video perspective and everything else that you've been posting. So talk to us a little bit about the last week of practice and kind of what you're seeing and any general views that you might have.
Yeah, it's funny. So I wrote a story about Jack Miller, and then somebody pulled up what I said about Anthony Richardson. And my story about Jack Miller was basically like Florida thought they would need quarterback depth, which they did because Emory Jones officially hits the transfer portal. And his coaches and his teammates like him, think he's a good guy and a good player. And they're like, weren't you the guy that said Anthony Richardson's way better? And I'm like, yeah, I think he is. So I don't know where you got that from the story. But I think I think Jack Miller is a good quarterback and he's getting better. I keep hearing good things about him. I don't think he's going to be the starting quarterback. I think that's going to be Anthony Richardson. And I wonder if I still think the two redshirt freshmen are way far behind. And I wonder if one of them won't transfer at the end of spring. And then, I don't like when you have to end up taking two quarterbacks in a class. Like we dealt with that. I think a couple classes, with Muschamp, with Brissett and Driscoll, and then dealt again with Felipe and Kyle. And it's just like, listen, this isn't wide receiver. You can't put three of them on the ball at three of them on the field at one time. There's only one ball for a quarterback to throw. And then you get into a situation where, well, then they're going to transfer. And then you've got to take two again.
Yeah.
So
we've been in that perpetual cycle since Cam Newton and John Brantley.
Right? Yeah.
And you go all the way back.
Wrong kid transferred, Dan.
Wrong kid transferred. Should have just got him a laptop. No, I mean, but I mean, if you do think about, how the dominoes have fallen since then, right? You've had to necessarily take 2 quarterbacks in a class, I think four times, right? Since that being the first one, because you're inevitably going to have somebody that wants playing time or is going to transfer, and you're going to need that depth, right? Because Florida has 4 quarterbacks right now on their roster, and Emory Jones isn't
with one coming.
Right, with one coming. And Emory Jones isn't at practice anymore, right? I know that's a dumb question.
No.
Okay. So you have 4 quarterbacks. You have a 5th one that's going to be joining, but the way that they're staggered has a lot of congestion there right at the middle. Anthony Richardson has 2 more years to play. Jack Miller has 2 or 3 more years to play. You have Kitna and Del Rio that will have 4 years to play. And then you're going to have Max Brown joining, and he's going to have 4 years to play, right? So you ultimately have a lot of congestion that at some point somebody's going to say, hey, there's an opportunity for me. Maybe it's not as good of a school as Florida, but they're going to go to at least get that opportunity.
Yeah. And it's how do you break out of that cycle, because if you're taking 2 and a guy's leaving, well, hey, now we're below the 4 that we want again, and you have to kind of keep doing it again. So that'll be interesting to see. I think Emory, I never thought, and I don't think I ever said, maybe he'll change his mind or thought that he was changing his mind. I think he made the best decision for Emory Jones. He's been at Florida, taking classes at the University of Florida, a top 5 public institution in the country, for like 9 semesters. You're 1 semester away from graduating. Like, are you going to go and get, not to down Arizona State, but get a degree from Arizona State, a piece of paper from Arizona State after taking 2 classes there instead of getting one from Florida? To me, it didn't make sense when he entered, or when he told Pete Thamel that he was entering the transfer portal in December. I'm like, bro, you're very close to getting a degree. Just get that degree. Right. You'll be fine. So I think it was unexpected just because he had been out there for the first 2 practices and then does it before the 3rd. But the news itself wasn't unexpected.
Why do you think he was out at practice? Was it just to get in there to say, hey, I was at practice, stay on scholarship? I mean, what do you? I'm not questioning his motives or anything. I'm just kind of curious.
No, it would be conjecture for me, but I think you're probably thinking like, I want to make sure I don't get my scholarship pulled. Like, I want to, I've done everything that's been asked of me, and it's a new coaching staff that maybe thinks they don't owe me anything. And if I say, hey, I'm going to transfer, and they're like, all right, cool. Well, you figure out how to pay for those spring classes. And you're like, yeah, I haven't had to. And that's, I don't know that Billy Napier would have done that. But Emory Jones, as a 21-year-old guy, doesn't know Billy Napier from, Jimmy Napier, and he doesn't know how he would handle if he came to him and said, hey, I'm leaving. So I think it was just a show of good faith. Like, hey, listen, I'll give it a shot. I'll come out and try it. And maybe you like me better than Anthony, and you tell me, and it looks like I'm going to start, and the reps start shaking out that way. And I'm like, all right, I can come back and start. I don't even know if Emory would want to come back to start at Florida. No. I think he's just kind of done with Florida, which is fine. But I think Anthony Richardson has been looking good, getting better. The issue with him, obviously, early on was just rusty. You're laid up with, and he was not in like those knee braces that let you bend. He's in a knee brace where he's walking and like having to swing his leg around when he's walking, just completely immobilized. So,
have you noticed all the quarterbacks don't have knee braces anymore?
Yeah, that's something that Dan Mullen's staff, and I think even McElwain too. McElwain before, they made every offensive lineman has to wear them, and those things are they cost tens of thousands of dollars. They're fitted to the individual. Dan Mullen made everyone wear them on both legs too sometimes. Yeah, and I think McElwain did as well. I don't see the quarterbacks wearing them now, and maybe that'll change. In the fall, because right now the quarterbacks aren't live, but and maybe that's not weird. Maybe we're just conditioned to seeing it still because the last 2 coaching staffs made the quarterbacks wear them.
Right. How I would like to know how beneficial wearing those things are. to not using them just out of curiosity? You wouldn't know, right?
No, we'd have to get like a doctor or a PT on
Yeah.
probably.
I'm about to look into that.
Because I mean, you can still.
It's something I noticed watching the videos of like practice.
You still see guys tear their ACL or MCL with a brace on.
Yeah.
But like, what's the percentage of preventative care that would provide? That's a lot of P's right there.
Yeah.
Pushing P.
I just did a perfunctory glance at the internet, and it doesn't seem like
Another P?
that quarterback. That's right, stuck with the P theme. Doesn't seem like the quarterbacks of Louisiana Lafayette were practicing with knee braces either. So it's obviously a fundamental reasoning behind that with your medical team and your medical staff, but definitely interesting. How's Anthony Richardson, throwing the ball? I know you said that he's slinging it pretty well, a little rusty, but a lot of people I know trust his legs and his ability to make plays, but how's he throwing the ball in those, short and intermediate passes where we, didn't have as much success last year?
Yeah, I think that's still kind of been a mixed bag in terms of accuracy, and I think that is something he will need to continue developing. If you look at him, I think that's probably the biggest area where he needs to develop those short intermediate passes. He's got a big arm. He can throw it 65, 70 yards, no problem. But how many times are you going to be doing that? And, are you going to just be a running back that's taking the hike? I don't think that's what he wants to be. I think he's better than that. So it'll be interesting. I think his passes, there's been days where he's been really good. There's been days, and I'm talking about the 15 minutes that I'm seeing, throwing passes on air. He's been good. I think that's your guy. But to me, it'll be interesting to see. There's other positions that are interesting. I look at the wide receiver room, and I think, how much is he going to be asked to throw to these guys? You look at the tight ends. Jonathan Odom is getting surgery on his labrum. Nick Elksnis broke his scapula.
Nasty stuff in that room, man.
Gage Wilcox hasn't been at practice in a week. So you're looking at Noah Keeter, Keon Zipperer. Noah Keeter's a walk-on. Zipperer. And they just moved Dante Lang Zanders back from defensive end. So, that's good when one coaching staff tells you to move to defensive line, and then another coaching staff comes in and says, hey, we need you to jump back over there. It's, always a success story. A lot of NFL players have been asked to hop back and forth from offense to defense. So I look at the wide receiver room, which I think
he's baby Clay Burton.
I think the wide receiver room, I look at it and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen a slower wide receiver room at Florida. I think Justin Shorter can be a really good receiver. I think Marcus Burke has a lot of potential. There's Dejon Reynolds. There's some guys that we just haven't seen a lot of. But then when I watch them, and again, it's a short period, I'm just like, this is not a wide receiver room up to Florida standards, at least from what I've seen. So I look at that, then look at Louisiana's offenses from Billy Napier's tenure, and I'm like, including the quarterback, they had 4 guys carry the ball at least 100 times. And I'm thinking this might be a 60% run team next year.
Yeah, including between the running backs and Anthony Richardson being a run threat. Yeah, it could very, very well be the case. And I wouldn't be mad at it. We thought Billy Gonzalez was doing a good job recruiting receivers, because on the Stars, on that case, on that front, he was bringing in several 4-stars every class. It's just like guys like Xavier Henderson. He was looked at as a speedster, track kid. Like, how all of a sudden he just slow now? Like, the development, we missed something in development with that last regime. It's never gonna be perfect. Every regime, especially if somebody gets fired, somebody missed something somewhere. So I don't want to nitpick on it, but I think our lack of speed isn't just in a recruiting thing. I think it's developmental as well. And the training, those guys just aren't up to the speed and training like they're supposed to.
Yeah, no, Soak, I think you make a great point, and obviously I'm not there. Nick is probably the best judge of that, but it does seem like a lot of our speedsters aren't the same speedsters that they used to be, and obviously the college game is faster than high school, but it just seems like a lot of those guys that were track guys and were the speedy, shiftier guys just don't seem to be that way. We can blame development and maybe they were just very good at the high school level and maybe just not as good, at the college level. But it does seem like Florida's probably at the wide receiver and tight end position, the lightest, that not lightest in size, but lightest in skill and speed that we've had at Florida since, maybe a decade or so now.
It's got to be a huge receiver. You're lucky because this is
they big as hell.
They're huge, but
they're big.
Got some straight distance, long speed, but
they'll be blocking a lot. So very good.
Yeah. It's so funny. I tweeted something. I was like, man, these tight ends work on blocking a lot. And I'm like, I don't know if this is like the offense that's going to produce like the next Kyle Pitts, the way that these guys are working.
No, not at all. Like the tight ends are pretty much linemen in this offense, like big athletic linemen. That of course they could catch something if need be and design some stuff.
They get thrown a bone every once in a while.
Yeah,
like, hey man, thank you for blocking for
those
first 3 quarters.
I try to keep them honest.
Here's your one pass. Don't drop it.
But yeah, I'm with you on that. So I'm interested to follow even tight end recruiting going forward.
It's a good. I was gonna say it's a good year for wide receivers. Like the depth at wide receiver in this state. Recruiting wise,
it's insane, especially with speed.
Stupid, yes. Yeah. So, I know they're already telling tight ends in this class because they have 3 coming in. They weren't going to take a tight end in the 23 class, and I think after 5 practices and then a couple of the injuries, they have already started telling some of the tight ends in the 23 class, like, "Yo, we are looking, we are actively shopping, we are down.
We're looking for an entire room.
Yeah,
may take 4 of you."
So it's a good year for wide receiver recruiting. I think Florida probably needs to focus and try to get a big class at wide receiver, but not talking down on too much. I mean, the running backs, you've got a ton of talent. Seeing Montrell Johnson in person, like you look at it on paper and I think he's listed at like 5'10" or maybe 6 foot, like two whatever. And you're like, okay, that's kind of like what guys are like listed at. And then you see him and you're like, no, that's legit. He's just a big dude. Lorenzo Lingard still trying to like get his cover on like Men's Fitness. He looks fantastic.
I see him getting a lot of the number one. Like I know all this is fluid, right? But I see him getting a lot of like just opportunities. How's he looking out there?
So what I was told by staff was that yes, the coaching staff watched film, so they know what the players are, but you had a blank slate in terms of how stuff was going to start getting divvied at spring. And that was going to be from your buy-in in the phase 1 and then the phase 2. And if you know anything about Lorenzo Lingard, the dude just loves working out. So phase 1 and phase 2 were just working out. He's impressed the hell out of the coaching staff even before they put pads on. And then I think when you look at his attributes, like he's fast, he's big. He's a guy that instantly they put ahead of even Montrell Johnson. And that's something we talked about in the podcast. I thought Montrell coming in, having rushed 12 touchdowns, 800 yards with this staff last year, that he would be a guy that would be number 1 right away. But I think Lingard has been getting a lot of those first carries that were there first in line.
Nick, sorry to interrupt. Do you think maybe that's because they know what they're getting in Johnson? Right,
that could be. He's also young. He's also really young though, and he did that against Sunbelt talent. So it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do when the linebacker at LSU is as fast as you? You might have been faster at 205 pounds than every linebacker in the Sunbelt, but you might find a defensive end that's going to chase you down in the SEC.
Johnson's advantage would have been knowing the offense, but he's not more physically talented than Bowman and Lingard.
I agree. Yeah. No, I was just curious. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not there. I also don't know their philosophy on, hey, let's see who we have. Right. If we already know we have this talent,
we have a known commodity. Let's find out. Gotcha.
Right.
I think
Lingard is the oldest in the room as well.
Lingard's the oldest in the room. I think DeMarcus is, at least from what I heard, still kind of going through the same growing pains that probably kept him off the field last year. I don't know if that'll continue because
he's not blocking and reading plays,
blocking and I think maybe even just a little bit buying in and doing everything right in terms of film study and all of those things. So And that just comes with maturity. Like at some point that's going to click or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. It didn't click for me. I just stopped playing sports. But he's talented.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't the only thing that didn't click for you.
Right. That was it. That was just the one thing. It was just really the one thing that derailed my professional career.
Stay focused, huh?
Nick didn't know how to telegraph a fly ball. And
5-star kids can pull it together.
7 stars.
Offensive line, I think that's an area that a lot of people are very excited about for the first time in I think a long time. Speaking of which, Fred Johnson just signed with the Bucks the other day. But how's the offensive line looking?
5-6 fine. It's Royal Palm Beach, baby. We out here a little bit.
I think I'm cautiously optimistic about the offensive line because I think. I really like having 2 coaches, and I think Darnell Stapleton I think Rob Sale might be a really good technician and will have the respect, but like Darnell, you get instant credibility. Like, hey, I played for a Super Bowl. I have a Super Bowl ring, and I wasn't doing it that long ago.
Right, super relatable guy.
Yeah, I think that.
I do like. I'll finish up, Nick.
I think that gives you instant credibility, and really. I joked. I was like, they have like community college numbers because you've got 2 coaches. Each coach has a graduate assistant.
Right. That's what I was about to say.
Offensive analysts. I'm like, this isn't like, Dan at a freshman UF class in an auditorium with 1 professor, a TA, and 500 kids. This is like, you've got one-on-one attention. So I like just the sheer numbers they have, the way that they'll be able to develop these guys. And
I initially thought that possibly that they would be operating in like 2 different groups, but they all operate together.
And tackles, they all operate together, and they kind of like mix and match too. Like if Stapleton's got the left side of the line one day, he might have the right side the next. He might have tackles one day, so it's kind of just the whole community is raising the offensive line.
Yeah, it's dope. I think they do the same with the defensive line as well, right? Just watching those guys kind of gather on some film, I thought I seen similar type situation.
It's a little bit different because like Mike P takes, and I don't know if you consider, like Brenton Cox a defensive lineman. It's an outside linebacker in essentially a 34 defense. So
it just depends on defense. That's all.
Yeah. But the offensive line, I feel good about it. And I forgot, I was mentioning playing Josh Brown at right tackle. I forgot Michael Tarquin, who was really the first tackle to come off and play last year. So I think Tarquin's a guy. Right now, Braun hasn't even played right tackle. I think he could. But it'll be interesting to see how those guards shake up because I think Torrance will win a guard spot, and I think Ethan White's going to win a guard spot, and then you got Kingsley and Richard Garage at left tackle. I'm cautiously optimistic about the offense.
Where's Torrance?
Yeah,
right guard.
Right guard. Okay.
I think we about to lean on some shit, Nick. Real talk.
Just press on them.
Yeah, we got some big guys that could and I think we got the right philosophy. It's just run game, blocking, all that stuff's just a mentality that comes from the top. Dan Mullen, that last regime was real finesse football. These guys are gonna come in with a different mentality. I think we're gonna play very physical at the point of attack. I think we're gonna see different offensive line. I think those guys are already talented, but I think the new mindset, new coaching. And the way this offense is set up, we're gonna lay on some people.
That's
stay healthy.
That's his whole thing is and I wondered how and listen, if you win games, no one's gonna give a shit. You're winning games, you can run the wishbone and win a national championship, and we'll support it. But I wonder if things don't go well right away, are people gonna be like, we're setting the offense back because it's going to be a run-heavy offense. You're going to run a lot of inside zone and then run things off of that.
Educated fan got to know that like this ain't the players.
It's not going to be the Kyle Trask. Yeah, it's not going to be the Kyle Trask 400 because that stuff's
personnel wise. But you got to know personnel wise. Like the talent just isn't there at wide receiver for us to play football like that and win football games. These guys got to coach to the talent that we have on the field, and right now. We don't think we had a wide receiver to take something off and be pitching it around a lot.
No.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a different offense, and I think that could have probably been the case regardless, right? Obviously, if Dan Mullen is still here, you still have the same potential issues that Florida's dealing with right now. I want to quickly hit on the defensive side of the ball, Nick. What are you noticing there?
I think. The biggest thing for me was finding somebody on the other side to take the pressure off of Brenton. He comes back for this year, and he led the team last year in sacks, tackles for loss. He's going to have a target on his back. Who do you have other than Javon Dexter to take pressure off him? I think Princely's a guy that I look at. I think Boone's another player, obviously still young, was just a freshman last year, but a guy that certainly looks the part. And I think they're coming along. And then next to Dexter, I think Jalen Lee's been impressive to me. I think he might be a guy that I think can step in and take that starting spot. I still think it's kind of slim there right now, Silk, though, like especially inside at tackle. Like love Des Watson. Shout out to Spence and his jerky. But like everyone keeps saying he's really athletic for 415. It's like, all right, well, how athletic would you be at 375? Would you be even more athletic? Would you be able to play more than 15 plays a game?
Is he still that heavy?
He got heavier on the scheduled roster. He got on the posted roster. He was at 400 with Mullen.
That's
Billy
nuts.
came in and did his own thing, and now he's posted at 415. Now he's probably losing weight.
Stop giving him jerky.
Probably losing weight right now because they've got individualized meal plans and things like that. And it hasn't been that hot in Gainesville, but you're practicing, 3 times a week. He's probably losing some weight right now. But I think for him, it's just keeping it off. And it's really just investing in yourself. Like you can be great at 415, but could you be greater and healthier and more productive at 370?
Yeah, that's it. That is a very heavy weight. I think for me, defensive tackle is probably my most glaring thing that I've noticed, and I would not be surprised to see them go after a couple of transfers on the defensive tackle position. I think that Florida's going to need that. If anything, it's for depth. They don't have a lot of depth there. They don't have a lot of experience there. They definitely don't have a lot of quality experience there. So be interesting to see there. Are you seeing anything on the other cornerback, Nick, on who might be leading that other side of the ball?
It's interesting. Jaden Hill is getting a lot of love, and he's still in a non-contact jersey, but he's getting a lot of love.
We said the season rolled on him last year. And
it did. Yeah, what'd I tell you?
Man.
Who rolled on him?
Yeah, the season was riding on Jaden Hill's success, is what Dan said.
Well, I didn't make it to the season.
Yeah, I know. That's why it happened.
Yeah.
Nick's finally catching up to what you were saying. So
the hamster's turning.
Welcome to the podcast.
Right.
I'll be interested to see what Jalen Kimber looks like. I haven't seen a ton of him yet. He's also in the non-contact jersey right now. And then you've got Avery Helm. It's obviously Jason Marshall is going to lock down one side of the field, and you're finding the other one. I think Jaden Hill's probably leading it right now. It might be in that order that I said. It might be Hill, Kimber, and then Helm.
You got Kimber in the slot. Anyway, Helm slides to the nickel.
There's a couple guys that can play nickel, and they're going to play 6 DBs at some times, and you're going to have, Rashad Torrance can be at safety, and then you're going to have Tre'Vez Johnson at nickel. DeJuan Black is playing inside linebacker, but if you're going into a dime, can you leave him on the field and have him play a little bit of that? He's gotten a couple interceptions in some 11-on-11 stuff. Obviously still has the hands there. There's a lot of guys, and we haven't seen enough. I'll be interested to talk to some people Tuesday night after because Tuesday or is Thursday the scrimmage? Tuesday scrimmage. They scrimmage this week. Be interested to talk to people after the first scrimmage this week to kind of see where guys were fitting in. And once you get into some situational stuff, how those pieces start fitting. Because like 3rd and 1 is different than 3rd and 15 in terms of personnel. So just try to figure out what they're doing, in the nickel. Because I don't know if I would put. I don't know that I've seen Kimber in nickel. When we've seen the limited 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 stuff that we've seen.
All 3 of those guys. What is Devin? What's up with Devin Moore? You hear anything?
They love Devin Moore.
Right.
Love Devin Moore. It'll be interesting. He's a really smart kid. Like he's going to pick up everything that they're putting down in terms of new schemes, new techniques, the X's and O's. He's going to pick all that stuff up. They really like him. And that's, I don't know if he gets a ton of playing time without an injury, but a guy that I think the staff is getting to the point where if he had to play, they wouldn't be worried about it.
I think he here's
I
my
mean,
take.
he's going to play special teams too.
Those other guys are smaller guys. I mean, it's only so much they got. Even if they hit the weight room hard, they're just not big frame guys. And if size become an issue, I think they may have to go to him in the season if like tackling and things like that become an issue.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Tackling becoming an issue with.
What was that?
So who do you see tackling being an issue with? We're going to get you on record.
In our secondary, I mean, all those guys have struggled with tackling. I think the smaller defensive backs. I
mean, even Jason Marshall struggled with it a bit, right? I mean, you know, I don't have faith in anybody being a sure tackler out of any of the cornerbacks you just named.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern.
Put that on TikTok.
I would think, you know, like in my mind, is tackling. That's one of the things that stuck out last year throughout the entire season was being able to get guys in the will looking like they want to tackle. It just didn't look like those guys wanted to like smash a SEC running back in the face or even in his thighs. It was like ankle, a lot of turf diving.
I think
Devin Moore is a physical kid. I think he won a lot of that smoke. So I think he's a kid that probably could play if just from being a strict tackler.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Nick, any other parting thoughts?
Just something to watch
on football.
The game changers doing a great job at practice. Shout out to
letting people know what game changers are. Yeah.
The long snappers, the punters, the kickers. Finally, great to have a staff that acknowledges the work that they put in with an appropriate title.
So how's that been going for everybody?
They do a lot of standing around at practice.
Right.
They come in. They get their work done early. You know,
game changes don't mean change for the good.
They're first on the field. First on the field, last off.
Just game changes for the worse.
Lunch pail type of guys. You know,
really, really high effort guys. Lunch pail, blue collar, salt of the earth.
The special teams definitely changed our games.
Well, Johnny Townsend was the best offensive player in 2015.
He sure was.
School record number of punts.
Let's hope that's not another thing. While you were getting off, the rest of us were very frustrated about that, Nick. Very frustrated.
Getting off.
I was having an awesome time.
Yeah, Nick was running out of Johnny gifts to post. Nick, what? Let's touch on baseball quickly before we wrap up the show. Gators do lose the series to LSU, but talk to us about the week in Gators baseball.
Yeah,
what's going on, Nick? Man, why we losing, bro?
Hey, I didn't lie about anything. I didn't lie. I said I was worried about Brandon Sproat. I was worried about Brandon Sproat, and
I thought LSU was mid, strikes. Man.
LSU's mid, like for LSU. It's not like LSU's never going to be bad at baseball. But it's a first-year head coach. So Florida, Tuesday, they played Bethune-Cookman, who didn't play baseball last year. And then obviously, so it had been over a year and a half. Their conference didn't play last year. So there were a bunch of hungry guys who hadn't been able to play baseball in a while. They had some dude come in the seventh inning throwing 95. And I'm wondering why he's at Bethune-Cookman and not like Florida or FSU or Miami.
They got a legit baseball program.
There's just too much talent in the state of Florida and the way that
not enough scholarships.
And not enough scholarships.
Yeah,
so
sure.
like kids end up at Bethune-Cookman throwing 95 and then get drafted.
It's Bethune, Nick. I say it again. How you say it?
Potato.
No.
There's a right way to say things. We had this issue with Dunedin the other day.
Dunedin.
Ridiculous.
All right, so
wow.
Florida beats the Wildcats on Tuesday. Friday, LSU comes into town, and Hunter Barco is making himself a lot of money, is what he's doing this year. He's 4-1. Consistently gives them at least 6 innings every Friday, and really kind of sets the tone. He gets the win. 7 scoreless innings against a really good LSU lineup. LSU came in as a team hitting over 305. They could hit the ball. And going to the park Saturday, I said, I wrote in my story, I said on our message board, I was like, if Brandon Sproat can't throw his curveball, his slider, and his changeup for a strike, this LSU team is going to hit him.
That's a lot of different pitches, Nick.
No, it's just your off speed. You have to be able to throw your off speed because Sproat gets on the mound and throws 98, 99, hits 100 miles an hour. But if that's all you have, these players at this level are going to eventually catch up to that and hit it. And he couldn't throw the slider for a strike, wasn't throwing his changeup for a strike, and made it 3 innings and was gone. And Florida got run out of the building on Saturday night in front of 8,306 fans, which is an all-time Florida baseball attendance record. So not a great feeling. Sunday, they had gone away from Timmy Manning, who didn't have a good start against Miami and then didn't have a good start against Alabama. They took him out of the weekend rotation. They gave Ryan Slater, who's a redshirt freshman, an opportunity, and he didn't make it more than 3 innings. So Florida is in a really bad spot right now when it comes to their weekend rotation, and Hunter Barco can't throw Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You need to find another starter. Florida's bullpen had an 11.3 ERA over the weekend. That's not getting the job done. They hit 8 guys in a game on Sunday. So there's a lot of concerns in my mind. I'm not pushing like a panic button yet, because you are getting Nick Pogue coming back from Tommy John. Tyler Nesbitt hasn't given up a run. He's started his career with 17 1/3 scoreless. So you're getting some guys back. But right now, I think there's 4 pitchers on the team that I'd look at and say, yeah, I trust them when they come into the game. And that's not enough. Florida,
you need probably 7 or 8.
You'd like to have there's a lot of teams around the country, a lot of top 25 teams that don't have 3 starters. They have a Friday guy and a Saturday guy, and you do your best to win the first 2 games, and we pitch Sunday with whatever's left. You use every guy you have available to win Friday, Saturday, and you use whatever's left Sunday. That's never been the case for any of the Florida teams that I've covered. I've just been lucky to have, Singer, Faedo, Shore, all those guys. But right now, Florida has 1 reliable starter and 3 guys that are reliable to come out of the bullpen. So they've got to figure out some answers. I don't know. Kevin O'Sullivan was really frustrated with it Sunday. He said it's not Major League Baseball. We can't make trades where there's no free agency wire. The guys we have are the guys we have, and they have to start making pitches. It's not like they had a bunch of 3-star, 2-star prospects. These are some of the best players, as deemed by Perfect Game and by other coaches. As some of the best players in the country, and certainly the best players in the state of Florida. So
yeah, they're getting coached by a Coral Springs High School legend too. So
who's that? David Kopp.
David Kopp,
Coral Springs High School legend. David.
Yep, he's one of a few of us. One of a
few
few
of y'all. There's a few of y'all, huh?
There's just a few of us.
He's distinguished gentlemen.
a literal few.
Yeah.
Less than a gaggle, just a few.
Yeah, just a few. It's basically me, David, and then former All-Pro guard and Hall of Fame member
Does
Steve.
Coral Springs know about this group?
I don't know if it's made it in the newsletter. I got to double check the Wikipedia page.
And then a weird week for baseball this week. So Tuesday they're in Jacksonville to play Florida State. That's the first game since the game March 15th. I want to say it was March 15th was canceled. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday playing Georgia in Athens. Georgia's not very good, which is shocking with the amount of talent, like prep talent that Georgia has in state. All those kids seem to go to like Vanderbilt, UNC, go down to Texas, just like leave the state of Georgia. Georgia has more power pitching. I think Florida's bats struggled with LSU throwing soft, a lot of off speed. I wonder now that you put that on tape, if Georgia will go away from what they are strong with and just give Florida a steady diet of off speed. But if Georgia pitches the way that they've been throwing a lot of fastballs, I think you'll see a good weekend from the offense. And I'm sitting here today as we tape, and I don't know who Kevin O'Sullivan will even start on 2 of the 3 games this weekend. No clue. No clue who I would pick either.
So Gators have 4 games. Nick, what's your predicted record so we can revisit next week?
Predicted record this week will be 2-2.
Ooh. So a loss to FSU and a loss to Georgia.
I think a 2-1 series road win and a loss to FSU on Tuesday. FSU is really good. The kid that they'll throw against Florida tomorrow has I think he shut Florida down twice last year.
Oh, excellent.
Pretty convincingly.
Just so I can see Todd's tweets on the timeline. It's the only time of year he cares about baseball.
Yeah,
shout out to Todd. No, Todd. I didn't know Todd went to Liberty.
Yeah, Todd's a flame.
Yeah, he's one of those distinguished Liberty guys, like Dana is in Coral Springs.
You think Todd made the newsletter?
Yeah, I don't know if
They don't know about it.
So I saw the Friday game and I'm in a wedding, so I'm gone. And I'm like, why is TJ blowing me up about Florida losing to Liberty? Like he doesn't follow baseball like that. And then found out he's a flame.
Well, he gets his trolls off. That's what he does. Professional troll.
He is a flaming troll.
He is a
no doubt.
Oh man. So Gators baseball right now sits at 17-7, 3-3 in the SEC. Have the one of the baseball rankings come out? Nick, where does Florida rank? I go with D1 baseball. Florida dropped from 8 down to 14. LSU hopped up from 21 to 13 right ahead of Florida. It's I sat here last week and I said, hey, it doesn't matter. You try to win 2 out of 3 every week, and you get to 20, you win the SEC. That's you kind of assume you're going to win all of your home series, and that gives you 10 right there. Florida's in a bad spot after losing a home series to an LSU team that will probably finish 3rd or 4th in the SEC, 3rd or 4th in the SEC West. Okay. Well, we will be anxiously awaiting
promising
and rooting on Gators baseball this weekend. Some other announcements. Men's track and field is ranked in the top 15 to start their season. Anna Hall, Natricia Hooper, and the Florida men's 4x100 are all ranked number 1 in their respective events. Shout out to Danielle Pavellini and Emma Lopinto, who were honored for AAC weekly honors for lacrosse. Let's see here. Gators softball beats Tennessee, who was ranked number 15. They move to 27-5 on the season, 5-4.
They lost 2 out of 3 to Tennessee.
Oh, I'm sorry. They claimed the series finale. I should learn how to read and put that UF on Coral Springs High School education to use. Number 16 women's tennis beat Mississippi State 4-3. They're 14-4 on the season. And then lacrosse, who's ranked number 11 in the country, beat Arizona State 21-10. So with all of that, Silk, I think that takes us to the Manscaped ad read, and then I believe I have the song of the week, so got to find that, and we'll get out of here.
Shout out to the great folks at manscaped.com. Be sure to use coupon code 20SG at checkout for 20% off and free 20% off and free shipping. Woo! That was tough. Spring is here, man. Spring football, but also spring season. Be sure to get that ball deodorant and be sure to be walking around here just clean as a whistle, man. You got to be sharp and on point. It's springtime, man. Get that lawnmower 4.0. You can use it in the shower. It's shower proof. It's dark proof. So if you like to shower in the dark, it got a little light on there. It leads you through the right path, right through the forest. All right. Coupon code SG at checkout, 20SG at checkout for 20% off and free shipping.
Perfect.
Protect the family jewels. Take care of them. You only get one pair.
You only get one pair. That's right. Don't nick them or get them cut. With that, that takes us. I'll cut them off. With that being said, song of the week, a big week in country music. Silk, I know that you were excited to see that Friday. A lot of country music dropped. So it was heaven on my Spotify playlist on Friday morning when all that came out. But want to give a shout out to Zach Bryan. He's a former U.S. Military member. He just got honorably discharged and is starting his country music career after a lot of success on YouTube and Spotify and other areas. So he has a new song called Highway Boys. So we'll play out some Zach Bryan and Highway Boys. Soak, I think you're going to like this one.
Can't wait to hear it, Nick. Dan. Got you. I'm
Very
excited.
good.
The first time I ever heard it.
We need to start coming back and following up when we do country songs of the week and seeing what Silk thought.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's a new segment. If you want to sponsor that segment, Silk's Country Music Reviews.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm a big music guy, man, so I'm gonna break down the bars. I like it.
There's great bars in this one, Silk.
I got you. I'm here for it.
All right, boys. Well, we will see you at the same corner and same time next week with Linda Teeler and Jeremy Foley. Also, we've got a
Hey, we gotta act like that's just a small deal. That's a big deal,
It's
right?
a big deal. This is Jeremy Foley's first podcast. Had all sorts of questions on how it worked. So we're super excited to bring him on.
The GOAT coming on the GOAT show, bro. He's the greatest athletic director of all time coming on the greatest Gator podcast of all time, dog. What more could you ask for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, you can't really ask for much more. Linda Teeler, also a very highly respected individual.
Oh, yeah. That's a big
college
thing, too.
athletics as well. But yeah, no, we're super excited to bring on Jeremy Foley next week. He's going to give a kind of an overview of his time, very successful career, climbed the ladder at UF and brought dozens and dozens and dozens of national championships to the University of Florida. So welcoming him and super, super excited about that show next week. And then we also have a big sponsorship announcement that will be coming out soon that I think every fan will be excited about to hear. We're going to be doing some gift card giveaways. You've heard of this company. You've probably been to their store if you've been in Gainesville. So we're super excited to welcome them on board. So stay tuned for details. Other than that, Nick, Silk, see you boys later.
Same corner, same time, man.
It's not Cafe Risque. That's not the new.
I wish it was.
Not the new sponsor.
I wish it was. I'll reach out to him now.